a word of encouragement. Webster's dictionary defines the word encouragement as staying strong, keeping the faith, hanging on in there. I'm reminded of the late great Bishop William James Robinson, who once sung a song, I've been through the storm and the rain. Oh, but I made it.
The Jimmy Britt Show, the Jimmy Britt Show, the J-I-double-N-Y, the Jimmy Britt Show, the Jimmy Britt Show, the Jimmy Britt Show, the J-I-double-N-Y, the Jimmy Britt Show.
Everybody, this is the Jimmy Britt Show. Backed by popular demand is Mr. Vernon Jenkins, Sensei Vernon Jenkins. He is a certified personal trainer. He's a licensed massage therapist, and he's also walking the path as an acupuncturist. So won't you salute him today? Because today we're going to learn a little bit more about TCM, but again, we're going to reintroduce what TCM is, because you don't have many prominent people of color that are minority groups doing TCM. So let me first have him introduce himself. What is your name, brother? Let them know, not just from me, but from you.
Well, again, good afternoon, everybody. And as the brother Jimmy stated earlier, I have a few titles. Been in school for the last 10 years. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I'm a certified personal trainer. And currently at the moment, I am probably about 10 credits away from becoming a licensed acupuncturist. And from there, I probably strive to become a doctor of acupuncture. And again, a few more degrees after that. But the main focus is those three right now. And again, today we're going to talk about TCM. TCM, it means traditional Chinese medicine, for those who don't know. And TCM comprises of acupuncture, herbology, Tai Chi, Qigong, Feng Shui, and food. Food is medicine. In some systems, some people use tarot cards or astronomy and other little subsets of like internal medicine. Like for instance, some people may use Reiki. I myself sometimes also, again, like I said, I use Qigong as one of my other, you could say, subsets of treatments. So everybody has their own approach. If you meet 10 acupuncturists and they all went to the same school, it'll be 10 different techniques.
So, Sensei Vernon, can you tell me how TCM works, aka traditional Chinese medicine?
Again, our system is based off of observational science. And again, that goes into the observation of the five elements of nature and its movements and how they interchange into one element of another. Also how animals and again, certain parts of nature, how they change with the seasons. One of the ways I like to explain that, because sometimes that's like, I heard everything you just said, but what the hell was that? I like to explain it in simple terms of when there's fire, what element in nature would you use to turn off fire? You would use water. If something was frozen, which element would you use to thaw out? Like if you had a piece of meat that was frozen, how would you usually thaw out that piece of meat? You can use warm or hot water to thaw out that piece of meat, and so on and so on. Where these elements, where things get interesting is these elements, they correlate to organs. So the fire element, is correlating to actually 4 organs in the body. But we're going to focus just on 2. One is the heart and one is the small intestines. So fire in the heart and small intestines, particularly the heart, would be acid reflux, let's say. So maybe you ate some spicy food, maybe some Jamaican food. Your stomach didn't take well to it. So now you're going to sleep. You have an insomnia. And that's because the pepper is rising up. We call it like rebellious chi. It's rising up and it's going to your heart or your chest area. So we use water elements or water herbs to reverse that process, to bring that chi back in. So off of that, again, the person's having acid reflux, we'll use a water element to reverse the process. And when I say water element, that could be either with herbs, acupuncture, which is the puncturing of needles in the skin. It could be with food that's cooling, and so on and so on. So these people, after thousands of years, were able to develop a sophisticated system to treat, I would say, easily 70% of most of the common conditions we deal with every day. So it's a pretty effective system of medicine.
A lot of people have been asking though, does this stuff really work? Is it really effective? Because we hear about this all the time, and a lot of people don't trust it. A lot of people rather go to the doctor and deal with the regular doctor, not saying that the doctor is the only way, but does this stuff really work?
That's a great question, actually. And if a person didn't know, they would think that most acupuncturists have no understanding of Western medicine or biomedicine, pathophysiology, or surface anatomy. Actually, half of my curriculum, matter of fact, more than half of my curriculum is based on Western medicine. You would think I'm an armchair osteopathic doctor. If you saw how many bioscience classes I have, it's insane. But in a good way though, because I'm able to now talk to a person who either has no understanding of traditional Chinese medicine or a medical doctor who only speaks in Western medical terms, in layman's terms where they can understand what I'm saying. Like for example, if I use a TCM term like liver yang rising, somebody who practices traditional Chinese medicine, they understand what I'm saying. But for the regular civilian or the medical doctor, they have no understanding or idea of what I'm saying. They're saying, well, I know what the liver is, but I don't know what yang is, and what the heck is rising. In reality, liver yang rising is acid reflux or high blood pressure in terms of Western medicine. So we're able to correlate the Chinese definition of a Western condition and make it simple so you can understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. Again, sometimes people have acid reflux, it affects their heart. They think they're having a heart attack. Sometimes people have acid reflux, it affects their throat. They get GERD. That's another name for acid reflux. So we can explain to them that we consider acid reflux rebellious chi, or high blood pressure, rebellious chi. The energy should be going down, but it's going up. So what we're doing is forcing that chi to go back down. And I think that that's one of the first ways to showcase the efficiency and the results of acupuncture. There's a lot of other ways to showcase that it works. But one of the biggest problems that we have right now, and we're still working on this right now, is understanding the term chi. You probably heard me say that a lot. Chi, rebellious chi. Liver yang rising, chi. Chi in Chinese medicine is energy or life force. And the problem why it's a problem to explain it is because there's nothing in Western medicine that can explain what chi is. But we're going to eventually get to that, and things will make more sense.
So Mr. Jenkins, can TCM help during this time of pandemic?
Absolutely. TCM, again, is preventative medicine. So I say yes, but I also say it with a little bit of a twist. And that is because you need to get treated with TCM early. So the earlier you come into the office and get treated, I truly believe the easier to be to get rid of some of the earlier symptoms of COVID. But if you come in after, let's say, 2 weeks of dealing with a constant cough, a constant sniffle, constantly bringing up sputum or phlegm, that's like dark yellow and green. That's like heat to us in Chinese medicine. It's going to be pretty difficult, especially like say you wake up one morning and it feels like a 50-pound weight is on your chest. It's going to be somewhat difficult to reverse that. So this is where Western medicine plays a critical role, because at that point, for some people, it's going to be hard for you to breathe on your own.
So it's going to be hard for you to breathe on your own?
Absolutely. Because what's happening is your lungs are kind of being filled up. Like some people describe the COVID virus or coronavirus as if you're drowning in yourself. So what's happening is that, again, we call it again like rebellious chi. That energy should be going down, but it's filling up your lungs. And if you know anything about anatomy and physiology, your lungs is where the heart is. So 2 important major organs are being affected at one time. And Western medicine has the technology to help you breathe on your own and allow your body a chance to naturally reverse the process. Again, unfortunately, some people who already have underlying conditions, it's harder for their bodies to fight 3 or 4 conditions at one time. So this is why this disease or this virus is so deadly in a sense, because if a person has high blood pressure already, if they have hypertension, or same thing, diabetes, let's say lupus, some other disease, and then you add that on top of it, that's like a perfect breeding ground. So people who have like asthma, people who are obese, it's making it even harder for you now to fight something that your body can somewhat naturally fight off on its own. So that's why it's so important to stay healthy and boost your immune system up. So again, to answer your question, yes, TCM can treat the coronavirus. Actually, they're using it now in China, so it does work. But the main thing is to catch it early.
So basically, this is more like preventative medicine, which will help you prevent from getting into that next level or that next phase. That's what you're saying?
Yes, actually TCM at its heart is preventative medicine, but we do also emergency care too. Again, if a person read some of our curriculum, they will understand that we do joint mobilization. We do joint, like if a person dislocates a joint, we know how to push joints back into place. And we call it bone setting, actually. So we do emergency stuff. Like if you're on a camping trip, you fall, break your ankle, sprain your ankle, we know how to make splints. You deal with certain poisons, which are emergency situations. We know how to treat certain poisons with certain herbs. But at the heart of TCM, yes, it's more so preventative medicine.
Okay, well, I heard about the 5 horsemen. And I'm a little curious about that. What are the 5 horsemen of TCM?
Okay, so this is gonna be a first for you. I created that term, so you probably will never hear that in any TCM books or classes or schools. Again, it's a term that I created because I feel it's important to know these 5 horsemen. But there's more treatments or aspects of TCM than 5, but I think it's mainly 5. So that's herbology, acupuncture, qigong and tai chi, food, and feng shui. I think if you encompass those 5, you have a pretty good system of holistic or integrative medicine that you can piggyback off of for life, and you can teach people. Also, like again, so far, you can even add Chui Nao to that, which is like a style of massage. So again, that could be 6 horsemen. But yeah, so actually it's acupuncture, herbology, qigong and tai chi, cui now, and feng shui. So tai chi and qigong are like brother and sister, the same thing. So those are the 5 horsemen of TCM for me.
Mr. Jenkins, can you tell me what is feng shui?
Yes, feng shui means wind and water, and it deals with good fortune, and also it encompasses the 5 elements, oddly enough. To me, that's like the textbook definition of feng shui. To me, my interpreter of feng shui is understanding the energy in the room or in the building. And I say it like that because a lot of times it deals with exactly that. So for example, like, I remember when I first got introduced to feng shui maybe 20 years ago, one of my friends came into my apartment and my bed was facing I think my living room was like right at the door. And he was like, "That's not good feng shui, brother." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You need space between you and your apartment and like the outside world." And so when I went to like another friend of mine's apartment and we were together, you know, me and the same dude that came to my apartment, my buddy, he said, "Now you see the way this guy hallway is set up? It's distance between him and a potential intruder." So he was basically saying like, I don't want to open up your apartment door and your living room is immediately right there. You should have space between you and like the outside world. Another example of feng shui would be like when you go into somebody's bedroom, if their head is facing the door, it's not good feng shui. Your head should be in the opposite direction of the door of your bedroom so you can see if somebody comes into your bedroom at night. So part of it is about building good chi. Another part of it is about protection also. So feng shui comes in a lot of different elements. It deals with sometimes too wearing like amulets and certain protective wear. And on this note, even in China, they have some buildings that are designed to put bad feng shui on their competitions building. So they have a building, I think in Hong Kong, it's in the shape of a spear. So the competitor, he had another feng shui expert put a shield in front of his building to protect him against the spear. This is very real stuff. So that's my take on feng shui.
So I'm just curious, who should do TCM?
That's a good question. TCM is available to everybody. I would say, when you do your research, it'll quell some of your fears. Like, acupuncture deals with needles. And if you're a person who's afraid of needles, maybe acupuncture isn't good for you. But like I said earlier, you have 5 horsemen. So maybe herbs might work out better for you. Maybe Tai Chi Qigong might work out better for you. Massage may work out better for you, or a combination of all 3. You have to really talk to the acupuncturist so they can explain to you what TCM all entails. Again, like if you have allergies, acupuncture is really good for allergies.
So I'm kind of curious, who should do TCM?
Everybody can do TCM, from children to senior citizens.
Okay, and those in a TCM practice, what's the most beneficial for senior citizens?
That's a good question. TCM benefits everybody in different ways. So for older people, I would stress building up their vitality, because that's one of the first things that starts to go away as we get older. Strength and balance and posture. So another thing you see with older people is kyphosis, which some people call like a humpback. And TCM, again, can help reverse some of that and just strengthen their quality of life. So that's one of the ways it can help, one of the many ways it can help senior citizens.
But what about the kids?
It's a good question. So for children who deal with certain type of childhood ailments, like cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, osteoarthritis, TCM is very good to treat those conditions in a very sensitive and non-pharmaceutical way. That's not a knock against the Western medicine medical approach, but sometimes some of the pharmaceuticals have harsh side effects. Most TCM herbs have no side effects.
So when is the time for us to do TCM?
I would say probably like in the working hours from 9 to 5, maybe 9 to 7. But I do know some people who do TCM at night to help them sleep, who have insomnia. But I would say on average it's best to do it around those times, from like 9 a.m. to maybe 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Why is time important when you're doing TCM?
Well, that's another great question. Part of it deals with how the body responds to TCM. So again, after you get TCM, you're probably gonna be very relaxed. You're probably gonna want to, rest or even go to sleep. So you don't want to kind of like be in a situation where you have to be fully active and your body is warped. So time plays a big role. I would say, like, if you know you're gonna get a TCM session, don't go and like work out after it, or don't go do something that you have to use a lot of physical force or energy. You want to give yourself almost 30 minutes to rest, actually, after you get TCM, to build your body back up.
Well, we thank you so much, Sensei Vernon Jenkins, Mr. Vernon Jenkins, and all that. He's a licensed massage therapist. He's a certified personal trainer, and he's walking the path of an acupuncturist. So we're greatly appreciative of this essential worker as this pillar in the community, as one that's making a difference in TCM as a minority and man of color that's doing TCM. And you know what? We like to say this is part 2. And part 3 is coming back soon, because you know why? We need to hear more about this in the communities, because TCM is a very important part of a person's life. It's a way of life. It's also a way that you continue to condition yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
And if I could add something to that too, a little side note, a little historical note about traditional Chinese medicine in America. Actually, the Black Panther Party introduced acupuncture to America. A lot of people don't know that. So that's a little side note.
Really?
Yes. The Black Panther Party was somewhat being partially funded for educational purposes, though, by the People's Republic of China. And they received money, funding, training, education from them, and they brought back acupuncture. So that's a little side that a lot of people don't know.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
It's a great little piece of history, because, again, a lot of acupuncturists are not people of color for the most part. I mean, no, let me not say that to that extent, but a lot of acupuncturists tend to be Asians and white people. Just the reality of it. But there is a growing number of Hispanic and African American acupuncturists. It's just very slow because, again, acupuncture is still very foreign to the African American community and Hispanic American community.
Okay. So it's usually Caucasian and Asian.
Well, they tend to have more. Well, obviously with Asian people, it's part of the culture. So, like, half of my classmates, they know most of the herbs and pressure points already, like in their first 3 months, because their family members practice it back home. And a lot of white people, again, because of wealth, they have more access to wealth, which leads to more access to capital, more access to resources, basically. So they can learn this stuff much easier, because it's expensive. The education for acupuncture is expensive. So they have, again, more access to wealth. So it's easier for them to learn this stuff and treat other people.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Jenkins, for being our special guest today. We look forward to seeing more of you as we bring other healthcare professionals up here with you. And we need to educate the people, so thank you in this time of pandemic. God bless.
Peace.
J-I-double-N-Y.